How did China become one of the most powerful countries in the world in just 45 years? By 1978, over 70 million Chinese died from either starvation or mass purges due to the Great Leap Forward, and then, of course, the Cultural Revolution, where the majority of China's intelligentsia was tortured, brutalized, and killed. For the longest time, I still remember as a child that people referred to China as why communism was bound to fail. The literacy rate at the time was under 30%, making China one of the most uneducated countries. And even up until the 90s, China was synonymous with famine. So what changed? What turned China into one of the most prosperous economies in the world? And they have a literacy rate now over 99%. It's all because of the Xiaogang village in the Anhui province of China. They did something very dangerous, very illegal, something punishable by death, and it saved the entirety of China. 18 farmers in the village of Xiaogang decided to have a very secret agreement where they traded their food outside of price controls. They had their own private, secret, free market. And within years, that became one of the most wealthy villages in the region. That secret became revealed, and eventually, Deng Xiaoping, the head of China, found out about it. But instead of punishing, he decided to conduct the Great Experiment and set up special economic zones throughout all of China. Each of those economic zones that allowed the free market to control agricultural prices became the most prosperous regions in all of China. And then it finally clicked that capitalism was necessary for China to grow. And at that time, China brought in specialists from Germany, from America, from Japan, everyone from the West, to show China how to make their free market grow, while of course still maintaining some kind of state control. From 1978 to today, China has averaged 9% growth per year in their GDP, totaling in over 5,000% in GDP growth since that year. China opened its market to the US, and the US did the same with China, exposing China to access of US capital. Of course, it was not a perfect transition. There were terrible things that were happening at the time, but China kept progressing upwards. By 1990, China began to open stock exchanges. By 2000, China got into the World Trade Organization. They allowed private property in construction around 2004. The reason why China was able to take all of this technology and innovation and run with it is, one, they had a very large population, and two, they had a very disciplined population, which makes them very competitive. But none of this would have been possible without the free market and 18 people brave enough to be defiant.